Ms. Clark, I want to return to the exchange you had with Senator Cornyn. We discussed defunding the police. You testified it's not the department's position or your position that the police should be defunded. So have you changed your mind since you wrote an op-ed in 2020 that the police should be defunded?
Thank you, Senator. I've never supported defunding the police. I'm here representing the department, which certainly does not support defunding the police. We are actively dispensing millions of dollars in grants to support our local and state law enforcement standing on the front lines of crime and hate crime.
The title of the article said defund the police.
The article talked about some of the challenges that law enforcement faces today with respect to, for example, mental health needs that too often fall at the doorsteps of law enforcement. I'm here representing the department today, which believes deeply in ensuring that our law enforcement agencies have the support and resources needed to do their work.
So it sounds to me like you changed your position, or at least your position from 2020 is not the department's position. But let's move on from funding the police to protecting the police. What's the department's latest position on qualified immunity? Should the qualified immunity that police officers enjoy from frivolous lawsuits be changed in any way?
That question, Senator, I would likely have to direct to my Office of Legislative Affairs. I'm happy to take the question back for...
Now, Office of Legislative Affairs just represents you to Congress. You're the policymaker. You're the one that would have input on these things. What's the department's position on qualified immunity? Should it change in any way? And presumptively, given the debates we've had here in Congress for the last year, if you think it should change, I assume you think it should be lower, that it shouldn't be heightened.
Senator, I want to be very clear. I've not, in the Civil Rights Division, taken a position on this issue. I can't speak to whether or not there's another component inside the agency that has spoken to this, but this is not within the purview of the Civil Rights Division.
Okay, so police officers enjoy qualified immunity. What kind of immunity do prosecutors and judges enjoy?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I think the answer is absolute immunity. So the lawyers who have constructed our system have given themselves absolute immunity, I just want to say for the record, while police officers only get qualified immunity. Another way we protect the police is when they're acting in their official capacities, we defend them from frivolous lawsuits. Do you think it would make police officers less likely to perform their job zealously if they knew that political bosses were going to hang them out to dry and subject them to financial bankruptcy and ruin if they were sued for actions in the course of duty?
I stand in full support of our law enforcement agencies across the country, Senator. In the rare instance where a law enforcement officer may be pursued, for example, for a violation of law, I believe that under our Constitution, they are entitled to counsel and protection in the course of that lawsuit. But I support our law enforcement.
And it's the department's
officers.
longstanding policy to either provide that representation or to reimburse legal fees if for some reason they can't provide representation. Isn't that right?
I'd want to take that question back just to make sure I get you an accurate answer, Senator.
I raise this because right now the department is hanging out to dry 4 United States Marshals who defended the courthouse in Portland from street militias in the summer of 2020. They're defending dozens of others, but for some reason they won't defend these 4, and the department won't give us any answers why they won't defend these 4, who I point out have all been returned to unrestricted active duty in high-risk positions. Presumably, if they were subject to criminal investigation or IG investigation or some other kind of disciplinary action, the department wouldn't be sending such marshals back into high-risk situations where violence, even lethal violence, is likely to be used. Ms. Clark, were you or your division involved at all in the decisions about representing U.S. Marshals who were present defending the courthouse in Portland in 2020?
Senator, I believe that this is a matter that is most appropriate for our civil division. I'd want to get you an accurate answer. I'd welcome any
I know it's
questions
most
you have
appropriate
this.
for the civil division. I do know that. But I'm asking you if you had any conversations in the department at any time about representing U.S. Marshals who defended the Portland courthouse.
I'd want the chance to take that question back and make sure I'm getting you an accurate answer, Senator.
So is your answer at the moment that you do not recall that you were engaged in any such conversations?
Well,
If that's your answer, that's fine. I understand you have a lot of conversations every day.
I'm generally familiar with the matter that you referenced that I believe is with our civil division. I'd want to make sure I get you an accurate response, Senator. So I'm happy to take a question back
Thank you.
to the department.
I would appreciate that. I look forward to getting the answer.
Senator from Arkansas is raising an issue which we've raised on the floor several times. He's put a hold on 6 U.S. attorneys and 2 U.S. Marshals. And as a consequence, their posts to remain vacant during this period of time. He is actually in the process of defunding law enforcement at the federal level. And it isn't because of anything that these individuals have done wrong or anything in their background that suggests they're not qualified. He is concerned about a case in Oregon and believes all U.S. attorneys should be held from performing their duties as a result of it. I disagree.
Could I say something?
Of course.
I haven't had a conversation with Senator Cotton on this, but if his request of you is this simple, all you got to say is why these people are being defended or not being defended to release these holes he has on, and I haven't discussed this with him, but why is it so darn difficult to just get a simple answer to a very simple question of why you aren't doing something?
Yes, Senator, I just want to make sure that you get an accurate answer. So I do want the opportunity to take that question back. I believe this is handled by our civil division. I don't know the answer, Senator. And I want to make sure that this committee has accurate answers and responses when it comes to the department's work. It's not a civil rights division issue.
Senator Grassley, they have been asked to defend 74, I understand, individuals who were working for the federal government in Portland, Oregon. They've agreed to defend 70, turned down 1, 3 are under review. I assume that there are circumstances here that they have not disclosed. They certainly haven't to the senator from Arkansas because he's not brought them up. But it appears to me that we have an attorney-client privilege issue, an issue of confidentiality with these employees. They may not want to go public with this. We don't know. We just know that 6 U.S. attorneys are sitting waiting for an opportunity to serve this country in law enforcement, and they're being held up for no reason related to them personally. It is a grievance which Senator from Arkansas has with the department.
So I'll just say that the fact that 70 have been approved for representation and 4 have not means that someone in the department must have reviewed these cases with particularity, and there's a reason why they're not representing the 4. And they will not give that reason. They will not give it not only to me, they will not give it to those 4 marshals and their lawyers either. And if Merrick Garland and Joe Biden thinks that they're going to get their political nominees in this department fast-tracked through the Senate while they are hanging career law enforcement officers out to dry, they've got another thing coming. And I'll just correct what the chairman said. It's not a handful of U.S. attorneys and U.S. marshals. It's every political nominee in the department, and every political nominee in the department will not get fast-tracked through this committee or the floor until these marshals get represented or until they get an answer.
So the senator from Arkansas is keeping U.S. attorney positions vacant across the United States. These are individuals responsible for prosecuting crimes. He calls them political appointees or whatever he wishes. They're being chosen in the ordinary course of business just as every one of them was done under the previous president. And we're asking for the same treatment, but he says no. He wants us to somehow waive attorney-client privilege or confidentiality. I can't do that. I don't have the power to do that. I'm sure